Hey guys, I'm Jacinta Robinson and welcome to the Fearlss podcast, where I interview athletes who have achieved incredible things. Today's guest was in the military and then got into extreme sports, jumping out of planes and off cliffs. Yes, you heard it. He is a skydiver and a base jumper. Later down the track, we talk about why he switched to indoor skydiving and why he believes that we shouldn't be eating animals anymore. Please help me welcome Jarrad Kline. We're here at iFLY Brisbane with Jarrad Kline. Jarrad's jumped out of 5,000 airplanes. That is not correct.
5,000 times.
Oh my God.
I pick a different one each time and then I discard the plane.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so you've jumped out of plane 5,000 times.
Correct, yes.
And how long have you been skydiving for?
Around about 10 years now.
Yeah, right. Did you grow up in a family that was a skydiving family, or?
No, not at all. They're not adrenaline junkies. They're all homebodies. They all live within, 30 kilometres from where they were born in Perth. So
really?
Very homebodied. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So have you taken any of the family out skydiving?
Just my mum, and that probably is one of my most memorable jumps I've ever done. I took my mum for a skydive, and there was actually like 5 or 6 other people around us. We built like this big star around her, and it was super cool. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, that's special. And was it for like a birthday or?
No, she just surprised me in America. I was living in America, hadn't seen her in a very long time, and my wife Olivia just organised it, said one of her friends is coming, and then obviously my mum rocked up, and she's not with us anymore, so it makes it even more special. So it's super cool.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And when you say star, is that like where you're all grabbing hands in the air and you've created a star?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was created like a formation star in the sky, and my mum was able to be part of it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And she's never done that before, so
she had never jumped before. No.
Was she freaking out?
I mean, she knows that I take things to the extremities. All of my past histories, I've always been a bit of an explorer and a bit of a risk taker, and not that skydiving's dangerous. You should definitely go and do it one day. It's a lot of fun. It's very safe. But she felt in capable hands, especially when I took her for a skydive. I had around about 3,000 at the time, and it was all within a few years. So I was very, very current at what I was doing. So I was very good at the time.
So she would have felt safe.
She felt safe. Yeah.
Aww. Yeah. And what spiked you to get into skydiving? How did this all start?
So I was in the army, the Australian military, and when you are in the military, you do have a sense of purpose. You do feel very special, when someone asks you what you do for a living and you mention, I'm in the military, I'm in the army, like people, they want to hear your stories, because they think that, they think Rambo, but it's not all about, it's a lot of stuff that they don't advertise. Yeah. But, you do feel important when they tell you this. And then when I got out of the military, and a lot of people do suffer with this, they are searching for a purpose, something to make them feel special again. Yeah. And then one of my friends had a tandem skydiving ticket. His missus got one for his birthday, and then a 50% off. Yeah. And then she was like, "I'm going to go with you," and she chickened out. And he was like, "Man, I want to go with someone." And I was really good. We were bodybuilders back then, and we used to train together. Yeah. I said, like, "I'll go do it with you." Never thought of it. Never entered my mind. And and I was freaking out. Like, I was white as a ghost on the door, and I was like ex-military, like deployed, all that crazy stuff, right? Yeah. And I was like white as a ghost on the door, right? And then, but as soon as we went to free fall, I was like, oh my God, that was just what just happened? Yeah. And then I did it again, and I was like, yep, I want to. You're hooked. This. Yep, that was it.
Yeah. Take me back through that moment, like, because I've done it before. I've done it once, and I remember like hanging off the edge of the plane. Mm-hmm. Tell me about what you were thinking for the first time ever.
I mean, it was just surreal. I was like, this is a mistake, and like, I was one of those stereotypical like muscly guys, like, oh, this is nothing. But as soon as you got me to the door, I was like, it was like chin back, doing everything he said, don't move, like, if I don't laugh at his jokes, we're gonna die, all that sort of stuff. And but as soon as we left the plane, obviously, like, that fear just it leaves you, that freedom just falls into place. Yeah. So,
I have to share something. When I hopped out of the plane and I did like my skydive and I went down and I got to the ground, my instructor was like, I thought it was raining, but then I realized that your mouth was open the whole time. I was so embarrassed. Has that happened to you? Have you taken anybody and...
Not that I've noticed. I don't think so. I've been thrown up on before, not in free fall, but when you're under the parachute, like obviously like you're going forwards, right, at like 20 miles an hour or so. So if they do throw up, like it's coming back onto us. So that's happened twice. And usually I'll tell them like, hey, go throw it down in front of your shirt. But yeah.
Are they telling you that they're freaking out?
Usually you can, like, they don't, but you can tell, like, they'll be, like, in front of you. You're connected, right? You know, I mean, you've done a jump, like, you know, you leave that plane almost like as one human being for a 6-7 minute period. It's, you're very attached. You know? And you can usually sense, like, oh, okay, I've got to get this person to the ground real quick, otherwise, like, they're going to blow some chunks over here.
Oh, gosh. And then what happens? Do you, like, pull the chutes, like, harder, like, to get down quicker?
Yeah, I'll, like, spiral them down and, like, lose a lot of altitude really quickly to get them down a lot quicker. And, like, obviously that doesn't help their situation, but it helps mine because you get them down quicker.
You're like, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So, man... Oh gosh. Okay, so tell me about in 30 seconds, you've been to some amazing places around the world. Mm-hmm. So I want to hear the areas that you've been in 30 seconds. Can you name off a few? Ready?
Ooh, okay. California. Yep.
Wait. Yep. Ready, set, go.
All right. California. I've been to Portland, Kansas, San Antonio, Austin, Houston, Dallas, a lot of places in Texas. Chicago, Wisconsin, Australia, China, Japan, Vietnam, Europe, like Switzerland, Italy. Where else have I been? New Zealand, Mexico, lots of places in Mexico.
That's 30 seconds. Good job. That's heaps of places, hey?
I've been all over the place.
Jesus. And if we were to pick one place, jumping out of the plane, looking down at the world from your view?
Such a tough question, hey. You know, Mexico is beautiful. You know, it gets a bad rap. Mexico is an amazing place. It's sort of like Bali, I guess, for Americans. But you know, Australian beaches are amazing. New Zealand, incredible. Like, you know, I've jumped next to like Mount Hutt and stuff like that, like a 7,000 foot mountain. So you're actually free falling whilst you're passing the mountain.
Wow.
You know,
do people trek up that?
Yeah, people.
So they can see you.
They'll be seeing us out falling, and
oh my god.
You know, Switzerland, obviously base jumping. It's not skydiving, but I've done a lot of jumps over there, and just incredible. Like, obviously, that's a lot, you know, higher on the adrenaline side. It's a lot more riskier, but you know,
so you just said base jumping. Mm-hmm. Tell the listeners what base jumping is.
So base jumping, base actually stands for like, so it's either antenna, static, earth, or it's a building. Yeah. Right. So you're jumping from an inanimate object, right? But you only have one parachute. The parachute's designed to open very fast. Yeah. And you only get one shot at it. That's what makes it dangerous.
Oh my gosh.
Plus also if the parachute opens up like backwards or anything like that, like there's a wall right there and you're going to hit the wall, right? You know, I've landed in a tree before, and that was in Switzerland.
Oh my god!
So I jumped off, and I was jumping with a mate of mine that just came and visited me from Australia, and he was jumping with us, and it was his very first earth jump. Yeah. You know, from a cliff, and so I was like, off you go, mate, and he went, and I was like, I'm going to show off a little bit, and like, you know, I just burnt it super low. And I was about 150 feet off the ground, and I pitched and opened my parachute, and I opened it as a 180, and I went like straight into like these trees, and I was like 60 feet up holding onto this tiny little sapling.
Oh my gosh.
I was alright, but like, it was funny, and my mate was like, great, the first jump I did with my mate, and he just kills himself. That's awesome.
So when you do that, like, what happens? Like, you're trying to open up the chute, like, are you freaking out? Like, because you know that, did you know in that moment?
I knew in that moment that it's not going to be good. I knew how low I hummed it down. Like if I was, you know, smart about it and opened it up a little bit higher, I would have been okay. Yeah. You know, because then I would have just turned it around real quick. Yeah. But I just had no time to turn. Like, literally had no time.
Yeah. And then did you like select the tree and be like,
No, it was wherever I stopped. I was lucky. I actually found like a pathway through through like the woods, like the forests. Yeah. Where there was like trees on either side, and I found this tiny little alley. But we're talking about like opened and like I was in it within 2 seconds. There's no time. Time. You know, you just have to do your best and then saw a tree and just like koala.
Just grab on. Yeah. Did you get any injuries?
No, a couple of scratches, tiny
that's
little hole
alright.
in my parachute, and that was about the extent of it. I was pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Pretty lucky.
Far out. So before you do like base jumping, skydiving, do you have to, like, obviously you have to prep as well. So do you look up the weather? What do you do?
Yeah,
like, what's involved?
for skydiving, definitely. Base jumping's more of a like, yeah, it looks good and off you go.
Oh my God.
But skydiving definitely, and that's more governed by the businesses that actually, host the skydiving.
Okay.
So they own the airplanes, they own the facilities, they own the area that you're jumping. So it's a lot of their responsibility as well. So, they make sure the winds are at the right level. They make sure you're landing in the right direction, because you are a slave to the wind when you're a skydiver. You have to make sure you're on the right wind line because the wind pushes you to where you need to go.
Yeah.
You do have a lot of control. I could land on a dime, but you still have to be on the right side of that wind.
Yeah. Is it hard to control a parachute? Like if it's like windy as?
If it's windy, it can be.
Yeah, right.
You're a light girl, so on windy days, you're actually like the challenge. Like every time it's a windy day, you actually want the big 110 kilo guy because more weight actually gives the parachute more performance.
Yeah, right.
But if you're super light, it's just like,
yeah.
see you later.
Fine. Yeah, right. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you ever take kids? Like, because they'd be light.
I have in Mexico. Obviously, the age limit over here, I think, is 14 or something like that.
Okay.
But in Mexico, if they can fit in the harness.
Oh my gosh.
Good to go.
Good, you're ready.
6-year-old, I actually clipped him on and carried him into the plane.
Yeah.
And it was pretty funny, but for kids, they don't really have that sense of fear yet. And I was like, "How was that, man?" He was like, "Oh yeah," and the parents are all giddy and that.
Yeah.
So they just don't.
It's
It's not
like,
really worth it for anyone over.
Yeah.
14
They haven't
and up,
created
maybe.
like a fear yet of
they
what
haven't
could happen.
experienced anything yet? Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, okay, packing your parachute, what happens? Like obviously, like I would freak out. Like, is there 2 parachutes in when you pack for skydiving?
Skydiving, there is. One of the parachutes is packed by a rigger. All right, they're a certified parachute packer.
Yeah.
In Australia, it's a rating that you get through the Australian Parachute Federation. In America, it's through it's actually through the Federal Aviation Administration.
Yeah.
I have both of those ratings, so I pack my own reserves.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of training, and those have to be packed depending on which country you live in every 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And they're different parachutes. They're very docile, very predictable parachutes.
Yeah.
And then you have your main parachute. Right? So if the main one doesn't work out, and then you can jettison that, and then you get your reserve out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Gee, so you have a special like folding technique and...
It takes about 2 hours to pack the reserve, like plus.
Yeah.
The main parachute, I can pack mine in about 6 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
6 minutes.
Yeah. But you would never use that. Like, I mean, the tandem you did, they probably packed that in about 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's they're not hard to pack. It's just
Yeah, they were teaching, like they were saying to us, like when we did it, they're like, "Oh, you fold it like this," and I was like, "I ain't touching that." Like, just in case.
Yeah.
So when you've tell me more stories about clients that you've taken up. So you've done heaps of solo by yourself skydiving, and when you've taken clients up, has there been anything interesting that anyone's done? Have they tried to do anything where you've been up in the air?
Yes, more. I did a lot of my skydiving in America, right? So in America, I've got a cool accent.
Yeah.
Right. I think I've still got a little American twinge because I did live there for quite some time. You'll have to tell me that. But a lot of the times the girls, they can get very touchy-feely.
Oh, really?
In the airplane.
While you're in there?
Oh, yeah. They'll be like, it's okay to rub my legs and stuff like that.
Oh,
because,
my gosh.
And you sort of just, it's not like, you hate it. You're like, it's don't touch, but it's like their comfort thing, but like they're sort of comforting you, but they're hitting on you at the same time because they hear the accent and it's just
they're like
that could be awkward sometimes.
Especially but they're probably like, oh my god, I'm like putting my life in your hands. I'm definitely going to make sure that I'm comfortable with this guy.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, they did.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
And
but
then
outside of that, sometimes they'll be up there and under the parachute and they'll be like preaching or they think they've got a better antenna to God or something like that. So they, that's what I tell them. The reception's better up here and you're a little bit closer so you can, if you're going to tell them anything.
Tell them now. Before you land.
Yeah. They also say, like, if you want to clear your conscience, I can't hear you during the free fall and no one can. So if you just want to let out, like, all your demons into the world or your skeletons, then that's a good time to do it as well. You got 60 seconds.
get it
go.
out.
yeah.
Jeez. And because, the wind would be going so fast,
Yeah,
you wouldn't
can't
be able
really
to.
hear anyone. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done any, like, when you have someone, have you done, like, flips and stuff? Are you allowed to do all that?
Allowed to, or have I? Technically, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But yes, I used to do lots of like cannonballs out of the plane with customers. I've done the only time I've ever done anything like, I've done a reverse tandem.
Yeah.
So
All
I
right.
actually put the harness on my now wife, like backwards. Right?
Were
So
you
she was
together at
actually,
this
like,
stage?
We were together. Like,
Yeah,
not,
okay.
Like, we were together.
Yeah, all right.
Boyfriend, girlfriend. But yeah, so I put the harness on her backwards and then clipped her on so she was facing me the entire
my
free fall.
gosh.
Yeah. It was made out for 60 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
She was like, this man is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been really cool experience. Like something that not many people would have done before, especially for her.
I'd never heard of anyone trying that before.
Yeah.
Most of the times you're at drop zones where they wouldn't allow that, but
Yeah.
we're at this like tiny little family-owned drop zone. And,
Yeah.
You know.
How do you see? Like, because if she's facing you, you like looking to the side?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We're okay, honey.
Yeah. I mean, the ground's there. That's it.
Have you ever like hurt your ankles or knees or anything like coming in the landing?
I've been pretty lucky. I mean,
Yeah.
that is pretty common in skydiving.
Yeah.
Especially if you get in the high performance parachutes, which I fly as well.
Yeah. What's a high performance parachute?
So you'll be coming in at around about, depending on how well you are at it.
Yeah.
I've clocked myself at about 90 miles an hour, so whatever that equates to, 150, 160 kilometers an hour, like coming in and
Right.
landing, like
Wow.
super fast. So if you actually mess that up and you can't recover the parachute fast enough, like you're hitting the ground at that speed.
Yeah,
so
right,
obviously,
of
like,
course.
you either got to break something or it's game over, and that's where a lot of people actually do. Like that's where the fatalities come from these days. Mostly
Yeah.
experienced skydivers and due to like bad decisions.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's good to know that you haven't done that.
No, I haven't done that yet. No, and I won't do that.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty cautious guy under parachute.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. And I guess over time you would have been quite experienced, so you probably don't really think too much of it now anyway.
No, I mean, my heart still pounds when I...
Oh, it does.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
But that's what keeps you safe. Like, I'm still scared every time I jump out of the airplane.
Yeah.
But that is what keeps you safe.
Yeah. And probably what keeps you coming back, right? Because it's like so exciting, that
It's
adrenaline
the
feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So now you're at iFLY, and why are you doing more indoor? Like,
These days, yes. So indoor skydiving is just more accessible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like outdoor skydiving, we were just talking about, do you check the weather? You need an airplane, you need to pack all these parachutes. Here, we just turn the machine on and off we go.
Off you
We're
go.
in free fall.
Yeah.
And there's no limit. Like you don't have
Yeah.
to do 60 seconds and then parachute ride, repack, get back in the plane, and it costs you, X amount of dollars every single time that you do this. Whereas like
it's
turn
just
it
a bit
on
of
and-
power.
Yeah,
enough
you turn it on and off you go, and you get
Yeah.
to, and you fly a lot more accurately. You get to learn how to fly your body more efficiently or effectively.
Okay.
And you get to experience like when I used to take people,
Yeah.
the most jumps I've ever done in a single day is 26 jumps, and that's unheard of in skydiving. Like people here in Australia, I tell that to, they're like, wow, like the most I've ever done is like 12.
Yeah, right.
I've more than doubled that. But
That is so many, actually.
Yeah, it is a lot. Yeah, 26 jumps in a day. Yeah, it's a lot. But then even on a normal day, like you might take 10 people in Australia, maybe 6 to 10.
Yeah.
So you can only give that experience to, a handful of people. Whereas here, we get to, we can take 12, 15 people, in a 30-minute session.
Yeah.
And we get to give that experience to people that 3-year-olds to 103-year-olds. Like, so there's no real limit,
Yeah.
The only reason the company puts that like 3 to 103
Yeah.
is because that's the oldest person they've flown, is a 103-year-old. There's no limit.
Yeah.
So I tell everyone, if you know someone that is older than that and is willing, like I'll fly them for free. Like I want to beat that record.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be super.
Yeah.
And then, so iFLY, just explain a little bit for people who are listening. They're not really familiar.
Of course. So iFLY is just an indoor skydiving wind tunnel. Okay.
Yeah.
Essentially, the way it works from an engineering perspective is there's fans on the roof. Right, the wind blows out to the sides of the building, hits the sides, goes down, comes underneath us, and then it sort of gets contracted. Right, so the air gets squeezed.
Yeah.
And that's what pressurizes the wind and allows us to have that pressure to be able to fly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Pretty technical.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really enjoyable. Like I didn't realize, like if you go to do it, it's really cool. Like you fall sort of in, like you get told that you got to fall into the wind, and then you're just like, oh my god, like you're like, oh, it's like, whoa, what's happening? Because you just don't expect it because you're so used to being on the ground all the time, and you're just not ready for it. Well, I wasn't anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you and most of our customers, but as you also probably would have realised, like after you were in there for a little bit, you're like, oh, okay, like, and you start to get a feel for it. You start to learn how to control it a little bit, and it gets a lot more enjoyable the more you actually start to control. Yeah. And that's also the beauty of this. Like, when you do a tandem skydive, you're a passenger. In here, you fly your body. Yeah.
And is that why you prefer it better?
I mean, yes and no. I still love both of it, but the fact that I can give that experience to a lot more people, like, with consistency. You know, I don't have. If it's raining, it's beautiful outside right now. But if it was raining, like, we can still do what we do. There's no limit.
And you probably, I think, also, like, for myself, it'd be really good to like learn from there and then be able to take that outside.
Oh, 100%. If I mean, it is now getting like, there used to be like two worlds, like tunnel flyers, skydivers, and every now and then it would switch up a little bit. Yeah. But those worlds are starting to come together, and they're starting to realise how beneficial the wind tunnels are now, because the skydives are being more successful. It's making everything safer, and the worlds are starting to come together. So a lot of places, and we're trying to actually set this up in Australia right now, where we'll have like integration programs with drop zones all around Australia. And that's actually what we're working on right now.
Yeah. And so is iFLY like new, or is this something that's been out for ages? And
I mean,
because it's something new to Brisbane.
New to Brisbane, 100%. We've only been open 3 months here. We're about to open up our second facility in Melbourne. There are other places, but they're franchise tunnels. We just acquired the one in Perth, actually. Yeah. New as in, it was in the 70s that the first this crazy French guy decided to jump in a big baggy suit in an aviation, like aerodynamical wind tunnel. He was like, I bet I could fly, and he did. And then all of a sudden, like, this idea came to pass, and then they started to think about body flight. Yeah. For the technological advancements, it has really leaped since about the late 90s. But more so the iFLY Austin, when they built that one, they call it the Frankenstein, because man, the first time they turned that thing on in like 2012, I think it was, like they just didn't know how much power this thing was going to have. They lifted the building off the foundation.
Oh my god!
They had like cracks in the inlet, like all sorts of craziness, like crazy stuff. And that's why it's called the Frankenstein. Cause if you actually go behind the scenes, this thing is just like put together with piece, like there's like wood, and it's crazy. It's awesome to see, but that really recreated the way that we actually understand like airflow and aerodynamics and things like that, and that actually changed the industry as we know it today. This company really did change the industry. And since there was like maybe a handful of wind tunnels in the world, now there's hundreds. And iFLY itself, I think they just opened Calgary in Canada, and that's like their 84th tunnel.
Wow.
Like, so they're banging them out.
It's a growing industry.
The sport's growing like crazy.
Yeah, right. Because after I come here, I was like, oh, I'm going to Google it. And then I was like, there's like huge athletes, like they're doing like these like dancing in there. And I was like, wow, it's so incredible.
It's super cool. Yeah, the kids especially, like, they're unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, actually, I've got my little protege. She's a little 11-year-old girl, a little Mexican girl. She lives in San Antonio, where I used to work. Yeah. And she gets here on the 5th of August, and you'll watch her rip around. She's incredible.
She's insane. Yeah. And do you train her, or?
Yeah, I trained her from one of my very first few customers where I trained from very first flight all the way to where she is now.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
She's awesome.
And I think, actually, did you share this on Facebook? Is there
probably? She's all over my face because she tags me in so much stuff, and I tag her, and like I'm super proud of her. So
of course,
very cool little girl.
So she'll be like quite inspirational as she grows older. Really cool.
Yeah, she loves it, and she's very it was such a strange relationship because she was very reserved and very quiet, and she would just sit there, and like it took probably a year for her to really open up, and now we've got a fantastic relationship, and obviously if you put that many hours in, she's put in hundreds of hours, and it is an expensive sport, so in part it's also her father's achievements as well as hers, because he has to spend the time, he has to bring her in, he has to pay for it all, he has to be able to afford it. So he's obviously a doting dad, but our relationship also is very strong.
Oh wow!
So they're going to be staying, they'll be staying at our house.
Lovely.
So made some really great connections with this industry as well.
Yeah, and it's really personal. It's like right. That's so cool.
And you just learn how to communicate differently, because as you learn, you
true.
can't talk in there. You know what I mean? So you learn how to read body language. Sometimes with me, I'll give her a look, and she'll be like, "Okay, I know what that means."
Oh, really?
It's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's just taking that to the next level and being really connecting, like what you said.
It's actually why it's really hard to teach your partner in here, because they know that look.
Yeah.
My missus, Olivia looks at me all the time. She's like, "I know that look." And I'm like, "Yeah, all right. Well, it's because don't do that."
Don't do that. She's like, "Oh man."
Yeah.
Oh jeez. And so, tell me, Jarrad, for anybody that has a fear around, let's start with skydiving. What's your advice? Because so many people say to me, "Oh, I really want to do it, but I'm scared of jumping out of the plane."
I mean, don't let fear hold you back. People let that control their lives a little bit too much.
Yeah.
It is very safe. Off the top of my head, it's some crazy statistic. It's like 99.9999876543221.
Yeah.
Chances of survival.
Yeah.
A tandem skydive.
Yeah.
There's multiple millions of them done around the world.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years, there's been like 8 fatalities or something with a tandem skydive. So, the most dangerous part about skydiving is driving to the drop zone and then driving home.
Yeah.
If you're crazy enough to get into a car, you're crazy enough to go do a skydive.
Yeah, I think the statistics for driving cars pretty high.
Way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse. So skydiving's safe. It's same as aviation. Aviation is way safer than driving in a car. So you get into a car, you can go do a skydive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they're all sorted.
Yeah, they're right.
Yeah.
And if they have any trepidation, come in here, fly your body, feel what the free fall will actually feel like in a much more controlled and a very safe setting. And then go and try that. If you want.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was speaking to some people and they said to me, "Oh, I'll go to the tunnel first." And I was like, "Hells yeah!" At least you feel like you're in something, and then you can. Yeah.
And we have a lot of control, as you found out. We can move around in there. We can manipulate you guys a lot.
Yeah.
We'll keep you off the walls. We'll keep you off the net. We'll teach you how to fly your body. We'll teach you how to control it.
So what Jarrad means is when you go in the tunnel, they're in there with you and they look at you and give you hand signals for your head and the way your hands are meant to be. So you feel super safe because they're with you the whole time telling you what to do.
Yep. And that's what we pride ourselves on. Safety is always number one.
Yeah.
Then customer service.
Yeah. Safety first.
Safety first, yeah.
Look after the client.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we break them, they didn't have a good time, so our customer service isn't good, and they're not going to come back.
They ain't come back. Oh, cool. Well, before we end this, I just want to tap into, Jarrad, you were telling me, if you guys don't know, I am vegan, and Jarrad, you're telling me as a skydiver and many different avenues you've been down. You're saying bodybuilding and that you've been tapping in and out of being vegetarian and vegan. Please tell our listeners why.
I mean, like a lot of people, I started watching documentaries and being more conscious about what I was actually eating, and then environmental issues as well, but also just the cruelty side of things. I was oblivious to it. We're born in a society where we're just blindsided by this is what you eat. And when you're a kid, this is what you eat, this is what you believe, and you're like, okay, cool. I guess that's what I eat, and guess that's what I believe, and you don't actually know where it comes from or the reasons behind it, and and then obviously through documentaries and just through life experiences, being able to talk to people, it becomes more evident, and it becomes a lot more conscious. The cruelty that we as humans put onto other living beings is quite revolting, in all honesty. So that was a major push for me. And I've been trying on and off for years, and it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, because meat is very convenient. It's because it's everywhere. But there are a lot of alternatives these days. Like my pizza. Love my pizza, but now man, you can go to Domino's and get the vegan pizza, and it's have you had it?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, just treat yourself. It's so good. I'm telling you, it's so good. Yeah.
Next up, Domino's.
Yeah. We'll go from here to Domino's and have a piece of pizza in the tunnel.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. No, it's super good. But just, being more conscious, it's made me like super hyper aware of like everything around me and the way that society is going, and we definitely need to make a change.
Yeah.
And I used to be one of those believers, like the whole protein myth.
Yeah.
Where do you get your protein from? And I didn't know that chickpeas had more protein than meat. I didn't know that, lentils and, tempeh and what is all this like stuff that I've never even heard of before. And all of a sudden, like, you're much more conscious about what you're actually eating, and you feel better, you feel stronger.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said to me, like, have you lost strength? I was like, no. I've turned into a machine. Yeah. I've gotten better. Like, I don't feel as lethargic. Like, I have more energy. Like, I'm just as strong as what I used to be. So
I found it.
Make the change.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I found it interesting. I like I was telling you before, I was like vegan, and then I did a bodybuilding comp, and then for a month I ate meat, and I was sleeping so much. I just felt like I was weighed down, and then it occurred to me, I went back and I was like, oh, I just feel lighter, and it must have been, and then I realized that digesting meat takes 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's been fermenting in my gut that whole time. So I was like, oh no, and then that was it, and then I haven't gone back.
It's so strange. I mean, it's a byproduct. Like, meat, obviously it has nutritional benefits to it, but it's a byproduct of stuff we can just pick up off the ground. It's a byproduct of vegetables. It's a byproduct of salad. And just take out the middleman. It saves the environment. Plus, you don't feel like a prick.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like the documentaries that Jarrad's talking about, I'm assuming they're similar to what I've watched, where they show mass killing of animals.
Just pure cruelty, and like the intelligent levels of like everyone, bacon. Like, how do you live with that bacon? Like, just like look at hear the screams of those pigs, and like oh God, it makes me super angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because I've got this little puppy, little Yorkie, and I think of imagine like a factory full of him, and just like I hear him even whimper, and I'm like, don't you hurt my dog? Like, you know what I mean? And like now, like the pigs are just as intelligent, if not more so, and and they know, like, man, there's this one video, and there's like 2 pigs huddled in the corner next to each other, and they can hear all their friends just getting murdered. And they're like, you hear the screams of them, and like they know what's about to happen. It's just terrifying. Like, we talk about the Holocaust and how it's bad. Like, it's a Holocaust every day. Do you know, I read something the other day. If we killed humans at the same rate as we killed animals, we'd be extinct in like 7 days.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Shit, that's crazy, because if you think about it,
how many people are on the planet, and we do that every week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't consciously, be a part of that anymore.
Yeah.
And even so, like, we're talking about, we don't try and push it on people. Maybe we should.
Yeah.
It's getting to the point now where, we should push it on people, because it's the only way it's going to really change. People used to not shun people for smoking or being overweight, but then it got to a point where you could. And I think we should as well.
It's turning around now.
Yeah, we need to switch. We need to switch it. Yeah.
And I also think, like, I've done so much research for health benefits. Just like, I know, like, the animals, that's horrible, but like the behind the scenes of like what it's actually doing inside the body. I just had a lady message me the other day, and this is crazy. So she had a cancer behind her earlobe, and she was vegan. And then she, before she realized she had the cancer, and then she crept into being a meat eater, got cancer. But because her body was so healthy before, and she had bloods done, and they could tell this from the blood, that her body had formed like a sac around the cancer, and it stopped the cancer from going into the brain. Like, and then she was like, well, okay, I need to be vegan. Like, that is, again, and she loved being vegan. She just got into the habit, like what you said. It was convenient.
Yeah, and it's marketing. Like,
absolutely.
Why do we need to drink the pus of a raped mother, to
Yeah.
be healthy. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It actually makes no sense. Like, if you think about it, and just take the marketing aside, we know marketing works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not going to get the girl that's standing next to the car, right?
Yeah.
But something in our stupid brains thinks, oh, I'm going to get that girl if I buy that car. It's ridiculous. You know?
Yeah.
And it's all marketing. But if you actually think about it for 2 seconds, it's like literally like, you take a mother cow that has been inseminated, so it's been raped, right? And then they take the calf away, slaughter the calf so we can have our veal, right? And then now they're just going to hook it up to machines and it's going to milk its lactation, and now that's what we're drinking. Not to mention, like, they're designed to turn these tiny little calves into these 500-pound like animals. Like, no wonder we're getting obese as a society. We're drinking things that a liquid that's designed to make us fat. Stop it.
Yeah, no, it's insane. And then what they're feeding the cows to get to that size as well, and that's not even healthy produce.
No, I mean, it's the food, it's the amount of water, it's all the methane gases it produces, not to mention the cruelty. So, like, take out the environmental side, it's just pure cruelty. Yeah. There's no reason behind it.
Yeah. Whoa, okay. We got deep there.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Well, Jarrad, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast and sharing how passionate you are about being vegan and your skydiving as well. And oh my God, I'd love to show the guys some footage of you. So I'll have to grab that to you after the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
No, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Let's go fly.
Let's fly. If you enjoyed today's podcast with Jarrad Kline, please leave me a review and a 5-star rating. If you're watching on YouTube, get ready to see what Jarrad's fearless challenge is for me.
So what we're going to do, we're going to learn how to walk into the wind tunnel first, but then I'm going to try and get you to touch your toes in the tunnel and do a little bit of yoga in there with you.
Whoa, sounds challenging.
It is.
Let's see how we go.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Oh, I'm feeling awesome. It's challenging actually coming down.
How'd she go, Jarrad?
Yeah, she did good actually. I was actually like super surprised.
Oh,
I was
really?
expecting you to get blown back a lot more.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's really good. Alright, so we're going to do some water.
Yeah.